I wanted to make a video about an AI agent and automation that I made to help commercial real estate firms automate the process of coming up with a brochure for a property. Now, I know when a lot of firms, they have to list a property, they'll come up with a brochure that looks something like this with some nice photos of the property, an executive summary, some overview of information here, asking price, the size, parking lot info, things like that. Maybe more images about the floor plans, the exterior, the interior, some Google Maps photos, and some other financial information. And I know for some firms, this takes a while to put together. So I wanted to make this a very quick and painless process. Now, before I actually go through the details of how this is made in Make, I'm actually just going to kick this off and create one myself. So by the time I'm done speaking, this will be all ready to go. So I'm using Cambridge, Mass. There's a company called Draper Laboratory, their research and product development lab. So I'm just going to use them to create a brochure. And right now, this AI automation is using an AI agent, and you communicate with that agent through Slack. So make a brochure. Okay, so I'm going to type in that address, and that should be done relatively soon. Now back in Make, there are a lot of steps of this process, but at a high level, what we're doing, we have some support documents here that I have saved on Google Drive. There is the financial summary that we're going to use. There's a training doc to help write the executive summary. There's also a template for the brochure, and there's also a folder with images that we're going to put into the brochure as well. So I'm going to go back to this folder and now go through the supporting documents. The template or the brochure template you see here is very simple. And for this video, I'm not focused on the design or the aesthetic. This is just focused on the functionality of this. But we have different things here in curly brackets. These are placeholders for the images that are going to get added. And there are other parts here with text, and these will be replaced with the data specific for that property. So it's going to be specific to this brochure. In addition to the template, again, this is the very simple financial data that we're pulling in. And I'm using Google Sheets, but can also use Microsoft Excel with Make. That's definitely an option. And I should have said too, even though we're sending this data to Google Slides to make the brochure, you could use Canva or another tool. And finally, this is the writing guide for AI, because we're going to have AI write the executive summary for us. And it could write other blurbs that we would want to, but we're giving AI the instructions of the structure, how long the executive summary should be, and just some other rules to follow. Now, when I jump back into Make, see this is working right now. The way this AI agent works is that I send a message in Slack. It is going to the AI agent, and then when it's completed, we're going to get a message back in Slack saying that it's done. And I'm pretty sure, yep, so that took 3 minutes. This is done. But before I go into the details, I'm going to walk through how it actually works. So let me jump into the AI agent first. If you go to this brochure creator AI agent, I gave it the role and said, you are a content marketing specialist that needs to create brochures for properties that will be listed. You could add more functions here. Right now, this is the only one that's in here. And I'm saying that you'll receive a property and a Google Drive folder maybe from the user, and you need to pass that information to the automation to run to create the brochure. Now, you have to give the AI agent a property, but if you have a specific folder on Google Drive with photos that you want to use, then you would put that in your Slack message as well. But now that you know how the AI agent runs, we'll go to the actual automation that it kicks off. So once we are past a property, that information will get sent here. And so the process of this is, the first step is Google Drive is going to create a blank presentation based on that template. And then what we're going to do, we're going to get the data from Google Sheets that we had before, the financial data. And then we are going to make an API call to Claude to write that executive summary. And as you can see, the property that's being passed is the property address that we got from Slack. And this is using that PDF, that training PDF I went through, to give it more context on how to write a better executive summary. Now, once we have the financial data and the executive summary, we're making an API call to Google Slides to send that data to the new presentation that we have created. And then once that's done, we're then going to go through this process of getting the photos we want to add to that presentation, to the brochure. And one by one, this is going to add those images to that brochure. And then at the end here, we're also, in addition to that brochure being saved as a Google Slide presentation on Drive, we're also downloading it as a PDF, kind of as a finished document. And then at the very end here, this is sending a message back to the AI agent saying this is completed, which is going to send the message back to us in Slack. So if I go to Slack here, let's see the reply. Great news, I've created the brochure. So let me open this up, and this is the finished product, right? So we're going from this, again, this empty brochure template here to this completed brochure here, where it has the image of the property. This actually pulled in the address that I gave it. This is our executive summary from Claude. There are more images here. And then this also pulled in that financial information. And this all took about 3 minutes. So pretty impressive. And the great thing about this is, and actually let me go to I should go back to the Google Drive folder. We now have the PDF file here, and we have the Google Slides for the brochure if you wanted to make edits here. So that can be done as well. But the great thing about this is that there's a lot you could do on both ends of this automation. If you didn't want to stop here, you could build more automation pieces here that would take the content that we had, the brochure, and maybe turn it into a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post or an Instagram carousel. You could do that, or turn it into an email. You could send an email draft to whatever email tool that you use. And there's also stuff on the front end that you could probably automate before, and it would kick off this process rather than having to enter it manually into Slack. And for this, I'm just using Slack. You really could use any tool to kick off this AI agent. And again, I think this is really powerful. Again, there's not much focus on the design right here. There's obviously a lot of things that you could do to make this more visually appealing, but I think for the case of trying to create brochures very quickly and not having to be bogged down by a human's time and resources, this is a pretty cool automation that is very effective.